How sticky can you get? No, I have not lost my mind. Yes, that is the title of this video. And to my fellow copywriters, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to make an idea stick and resonate with your audience. So if you stick around to the end, pun intended, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly how to do that, inshallah. And if you guys have clicked on the title of this video for any other reason, then chances are you're probably a raging homo. So please click off this video now. Okay, let's get right into the video. Now I'm currently going through this book called Made to Stick by Dan and Chip Heath. They're two brothers, if I'm not mistaken. And the purpose of this book is to basically speak about how some people have ideas that are so great, but it makes sense in their head. And a lot of people, they might not necessarily have the best idea and the best vision and the best plan. However, their idea resonates with a lot of people, even if it's a fabricated story. You find this many a time across the world. People that are visionaries, scientists, people with important things to say, people that have important ideas, but these ideas do not stick with the people. You understand? Their message and their delivery is horrible, but the idea in their head is the most amazing thing in the world. However, they are not able to deliver this message and get it across to people in the correct way. You will find many a time a scientist going through a journal and a report that's so boring. When's the last time anybody clicked on a YouTube video and went through 1 hour and 45 minutes of a scientist breaking down the theory of constraints, for example? It's very rare. However, you'll see many people on the internet which have IQ, the collective IQ of a toaster, and they have nothing significant to say out of their mouths. However, the thing that they do say resonates and they stick with the people. Why is that? Now, before I answer this question and break it down, I want to do an exercise with you guys right now. If you're watching this video, take a rhythm that you have in your head, whether it's a nursery rhyme or an Islamic nasheed that you listen to growing up or something. Take that rhythm, yeah? I want you to tap your fingers, yeah? Do this exercise. Get a loved one, yeah? I want you to tap. Right now, I'm going to do this exercise with you right now, yeah? You will find that when you're tapping this rhythm, it makes complete sense inside your head. But I guarantee if you speak to the person in front of you, which is you right now watching this video, you haven't got the foggiest idea of what I was just tapping about. Now, this is the analogy I'm presenting in the context of people with amazing ideas, but they fail to deliver it and to resonate with the person they're trying to speak to. This idea might sound amazing in your head, but this person that you're communicating with hasn't got the foggiest idea of what you're speaking about, and they think you're speaking baloney and gibberish. Now, why is that? Now, this book gives 6 different reasons why people fail to communicate their ideas effectively. But I'm going to share with you 2 today, inshallah. And that is number 1, simplicity, and number 2, unexpectedness. Now, the first step, we're going to break it down, inshallah, which is what simplicity. When you're communicating a message to your audience, whatever the situation is, right now I'm currently speaking to copywriters that are trying to communicate your core offer and your call to action to the audience. But this could be anything from a presentation to just speaking, from sitting in a meeting, trying to negotiate a deal with someone. You understand? What is the main message that you want to bring across to the person sitting in front of you? You need to break it down. What is the core message? And you need to lead with that message. You understand? Some people get overexcited and overworked and overwhelmed with what it is that they want to say. They start saying a bunch of things, and what they do is they bury the lead somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to present you an example which the book mentions, yeah? So there's a scientific journal. Yeah, that the health educators wrote at the Ohio State University. The message that they wanted to communicate is what? Sun exposure is dangerous. Now pay attention, guys. Now I'm going to give you 2 variations of this and notice the difference here. So the first one mentions sun exposure, precautions and protection. A golden bronze tan is often considered a status symbol. Perhaps this supports the idea that people have the time to lie in the sun long enough to develop a deep tan, or who can travel to warm climates during the winter and have more money and leisure time, blah blah. You're already bored, okay? Now, what did I mention to you was the core message. Overexposure to sun is dangerous. They didn't start with the lead. Eventually down the line, they communicate that message somewhere else. But like many of you guys watching this video, the people listening to this journal, got lost in the sauce. You understand? How many times do we see scientists and scientific journals talking all this scientific mumbo jumbo? He sits down in the chair, talks about the intercollectular, molecular, interstellar, collective organisms. I'm just yapping, by the way. And even a learned scientist will look at this geezer like, what is this guy yapping about? Get to the meat and potatoes, man. So these people don't start off with the lead message. They don't communicate their core message. Now have a look at the second variation of this. Sun exposure. How to get old prematurely. Sun damage from overexposure to the sun is like getting older. It is cumulative over the years and it cannot be reversed. Once damage occurs, it cannot be undone. More serious and lasting damage occurs before the age of 18. Fortunately, unlike aging, skin damage can be prevented. Okay, you've understood exactly what their main point was from the start of their sentence. You understand? So the first point this book tries to communicate is what? Simplicity. Break down what is it that you're trying to communicate and make it very simple and break it down in a way where even a 4-year-old can understand and digest the information that you're giving to them. Another tip this book gives you in using simplicity to make your ideas sticky is what? Using analogies. Now, my fellow copywriters, I'm going to give you a practical example, yeah? Let's just say you're writing emails for a course creator and hypothetically, their course costs £100 a month. Let's just say. £100 a month sounds like a lot, right? Especially when you say it out loud. You don't necessarily have to say it like that. You can use an analogy to make it seem very simple. Now let's just break down £100. How much is £100 a month daily? Now I'm not no mathematician, but if I'm using the dome on my head, £100, if you divide that by 30 days, it will cost daily approximately £3.33. Now what else in this current market and economy costs £3.33? A cup of coffee. Yeah? So you can say for a cup of coffee, you can unlock this course which got X benefits and X features, da 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 da. You understand? Now that's a simple way in which you can communicate how much the course costs. You understand? Simplicity. Now the second step I want to mention to make your idea stick with the person you're trying to communicate with is what? Unexpectedness. You have to be chaotic and shocking, perhaps even controversial, to grab the person that you're trying to reach's attention. If you're writing emails to your prospect, that will be what? The subject line. The subject line is going to be the most chaotic, the most controversial, because what? You want this person to click on that email. You understand? Now, many of you watching this video, perhaps, one of the reasons why you might still be watching this video is due to the shocking introduction that I started off this video with. Naam, it was very chaotic and it was very intentional. Gotta practice what I preach, man. You understand? Unexpectedness. Now, if you have a look at the right side, or I don't know which way the right side is, depending on how this video is mirrored, yeah? If you have a look at the right side of the YouTube, you have a look at, scroll down the recommended videos, you'll notice that every single thumbnail and title is chaotic. Why? The purpose of that is to grab your attention. And you'll notice the one that you click on is going to be the most chaotic, the most unexpected, and the most interesting one. Now, let's have a look at what this book goes through to make your idea unexpected. Now, one of the most important points that this book mentions is what? The most basic way to get someone's attention is break a pattern. Pattern interrupt. Now, this delves more into the human psychology and human behavior, which is we are conditioned to ignore a lot of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis, which are very normal. For example, blinking, for example, breathing. We breathe on autopilot, we blink on autopilot. However, if there is a interrupt, we might walk past the house every single day and notice nothing, as everything is where it usually is. The remote is on that particular side of the couch, you know, your bookshelf is in the right order. But let's just say that pattern was interrupted and you're walking around the house as nothing happened and you're paying no attention and no mind to this. But let's just say one day you came in the house and the TV was lopsided in your living room. That's going to grab your attention immediately because you have broken a pattern in your mind. Because you're not used to a TV hanging out from the side of the TV mount. Now, verbal and written communication is no different. Now, when you open up your feed in the morning, your Instagram feed, you open up your inbox in the morning, you get hit with the same generic emails, you open up the YouTube, it's the same type of thumbnails and videos. But if you do something that is not normal, if you make a title that's not normal, if you make a subject line that's not normal, if your hook on the first part of your video is very strange and unexpected, yeah, you break a pattern in the person's mind. I'm not used to seeing this. I'm not used to seeing this title. I'm not used to seeing the subject line. This opens up their mind, and now they're interested, and now they want to know more. Tell me more. You gain their attention, but it's not enough to get their attention. You want to retain their attention, okay? Now, the book goes into that further. Now, like I mentioned, it is important to grab somebody's attention, but how do you keep it? So this book mentions two things. Surprise gets your attention. We've covered that. Interest keeps your attention. Now, this is the part I want to expand upon. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there's people that got IQs of a toaster, but they say a lot of things that resonate with people. Why? It's because it's interesting. Now, how many myths and lies have we been told? And a lot of them, we all have heard this in one way or another. And let me give you a few examples. For example, for my fellow gym bros out there, I'm sure you heard weightlifting at a young age stunts your growth. I've heard this before. Can anybody tell me where it originated from? No. Allah knows best, but this could have been a generational myth. You understand? That stemmed from nothing. But it was interesting, which is why it resonated and it stuck with the people. To the point where a lot of you right now watching this video are resonating like, yeah, I heard this before. Another one, walking under a ladder gives you bad luck. Now this is a bunch of nonsense and garbage. You understand that people believe. And the person that came up with this is probably a very dim-witted person. But nonetheless, they're stuck in the minds of the people. Now, why is that? This is ideas that stuck with the people for generations. Now, how do we as copywriters and marketers, how do we come up with ideas that are so sticky and are so compelling that it stays in the minds and the hearts of the people for generations? How? One of the ways in which we can do this is through interesting stories. Now, this book goes for an interesting story. I'm going to share this with you story. I'm going to share with you the story right now, yeah? Now, I read this story once, but it was so sticky that I don't even need to read it from the book this time, and I can share it with you from the dome. And if you guys listen to the story to the end and you fully understood the story, then please comment it down below without watching it back. Don't cheat, guys, yeah? So this story speaks of a man who was late for a flight, yeah? Now obviously some kafir wrote this book here, so of course the man in the story was drinking. Now he gets approached by a young lady, yeah, and she says to him, "Excuse me, you missed your flight, yeah?" And to which the man replied, "Yes." So the woman invites him over for a drink. Now the man, obviously being tempted by the woman, takes her up on her offer and he takes the drink. Now next thing you know, the guy blacks out and he wakes up in the fridge with a note in it. Now the man, he realizes something is very, very wrong. Now he reaches out for his mobile phone and calls the police and explains to him the situation. "Hey police, I'm in the fridge with a note in it and I'm very scared." Now, obviously he was very scared and panicked, so he wasn't this calm obviously. To which the police reply, "Sir, we've seen this situation happen many times before. Now don't panic, but I'm afraid to tell you that you have been organ trafficked and your organs have been taken away from you." So the man fell into a trap basically. And the police said, "Don't panic, but if you feel to the side of your body, to where your kidney is, if you are to see a wire coming out, this confirms what we're saying." To which the man slowly, felt the side of his body and unfortunately saw the wire coming out of his body, to which indeed confirmed what the police were saying, that this man's organs were indeed taken. Now, is the story true? Allah knows best. But many of us have heard stories like this, probably from our mothers and our fathers, in one shape or form, about people getting trafficked and their organs trafficked. Now I hope this video isn't flagged for me mentioning certain words, because I know YouTube is very sensitive these days to certain topics. So we'll wait and see if this video gets shadow banned or not. Hopefully not. Anyways, this story was very sticky. And if you listen to the story to the very end without cheating, please comment it down below. Now my fellow copywriters, pay attention to this, yeah? Because there is a saying, my saying, okay? Unless you heard it otherwise, half of copywriting is storytelling. If you come with a compelling story, yeah, I guarantee you will grab and retain the attention of your prospect that you're trying to connect with. And I'm going to share with you one framework that you can use using the principles that we have just spoken about using this book, which is called the HSO framework, which is what? Number one, the hook. That's the unexpectedness. That's how you're going to grab their attention through the subject line and the preview text. Do not ever forget the preview text, because once a person opens their inbox, once they get the notification of the email, what's gonna come up is the subject line. Also, the preview text is going to be very important as well. So you're going to make sure this is very unexpected and it's something that they haven't seen or they're not used to seeing before. I'm going to leave that to your creative imagination to come up with. Yeah, you guys are smart by now, okay? My fellow copywriters. Use a bit of creativity, bang out a Google Docs, yeah? Come up with 16 different subject lines with preview text, okay? Practice this. Practice makes perfect, okay? Now, once you've come up with a shocking, unexpected subject line and preview text, now the person has clicked on the email. Now you want this person to stay and read the email. It's not just important that the person clicks on the email and is interested, but they don't read what's inside it, because what? You want to call them to something. But before you call them to that one particular thing, you give them a story. So the HSO framework says what? Hook, story, offer. Well, before we get to the offer, let's mention the story. You mention something very relatable. If you're writing copywriting for a personal brand, you want to mention something. Obviously, it's going to be very relevant to the subject line and preview text, but you're going to resonate with the person by giving them a personal story, a personal insight. Maybe it was a problem that this person went through, you know? Because in business is about what? Solving a problem and helping others solve it. So perhaps you can talk about how this personal brand was going through this issue themselves, but make it very compelling. Remember the story that I told you? Obviously, it doesn't have to be as dramatic, but I'll leave that to your creative imagination to come up with the story as very compelling as possible and to drag the reader and take them on this journey, you understand? And try to resonate with the prospect by giving them a very interesting and sticky story. Now, once you've dragged them down to the email and they're read to the end of the email, now you want to present to them the offer. For example, like I mentioned, his personal brand, he was going through a problem. He mentioned his personal, struggle with this particular issue, how he solved it, and how he can help you solve it, in which you can present your call to action. Now, this is 2 of the 6 principles that this book covers on how to make an idea stick. Now, my fellow copywriters, this is a must read. I can go through this whole book to you right now, but I'm currently going through this book, and as we go through this book, inshallah, I'm gonna be breaking down more of these 6 principles. Now, if I tell you everything today, I got nothing to tell you tomorrow, okay? Now, this book is full of gems, and we're gonna extract these gems and milk this cow for what it's worth, okay? We're gonna milk this and make a couple of videos out of this, inshallah. Who knows, maybe we could turn this into a series. Now, I really hope you guys benefited from this video, and hopefully this video was sticky enough that you guys watched this video to the end. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please do like, comment, share and subscribe, yeah, inshallah, for more sticky ideas, inshallah. Thank you very much. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.